What's up, everybody? It's me again, and it's time. Oh, my voice.
Okay. Ooh.
Clear that out, child.
It's been a long weekend, but welcome back to the lean for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We're on our new night. Of course, we moved this show to Mondays because Sundays, probably my voice like that anyway. Sundays are for Sunday fun days, okay? And I just wasn't willing to give it up. Jamie loves Tinashe on Sundays, and Antonio likes to tip out and be grown on Sundays. So we moved to Monday.
Yeah.
Chad is at work today.
I love how you brought up Tinashe. That was literally 3 months ago.
It doesn't matter.
So you hold a grudge.
Yeah, I do. Very much so. I'm a Scorpio.
Okay, you're
I
very
see
Crosby.
we have JP Rob. Hey, JP Rob. He says it was a great
JP.
episode. It was definitely a great episode. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Ryan is here. Taylor is here. If anyone else is here, let us know in the chat. Of course, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and like this video for today. And pass the word in the news for those that watch Salt Lake City to watch us on Mondays. Potomac is over, thank God. And this show, Salt Lake City, has taken its place. So we'll be here every Monday. Yeah. Oh Lord, JP Rob already getting started. So let's get started. Maybe here. Let's get into it. So they took a 2-week break, and that's because Porsha's line Family Matters aired last week. I'm not dissing Porsha. I love Porsha, but that show I watch it, but I just be like, I watch it. It's kind of cringy.
It's some tea.
A little bit.
But I'm going to continue to watch it. We will not. I think people asked last week were we going to review it. We won't. Won't be happening. But of course, we can always bring up some things about it around. Maybe some special conversations. Maybe she break the news, because when she actually got with Simon and she broke the internet, me and Robert got on and did like a whole special segment on it. So, Brian said, "Do not review it." Yeah, we're not. I'm not gonna waste an hour a week on that. Cody said, "Awkward." Jasmine, hey Jasmine, Jasmine's here.
What's up, baby Jazz?
Huh?
I love me some Jasmine. What's up, boo?
Jasmine on her leave, until her next show comes on, which is probably maybe Atlanta. So
yeah,
I'm sure she's happy to have her Mondays back. But I'm glad she's still here with us at the same time. And JP Rob says, "Y'all looking fine as always." You must be about me and Antonio, because Jamie
looks very ashy most of the time. So
all right.
Well, I didn't say that,
right.
but
That's right. I can
Jamie
see
know his love. Jamie know
Lisa and Mary are already starting.
Jamie's a part of the Mexican cartel. Okay.
Okay. Watch it, because I make that cocaine.
He's a thug.
Oh my God.
I'm a thug.
So let's get into it. And we also got the mid-season trailer too, so we can talk about that too. But let's talk about the episode. And excuse my voice again; it's a little kind of gone, but it's here.
Trash.
So in the last episode, they're on Vail. The episode, they're still at Vail. They have a little what was it, like Irish little party, I believe. They're all dressed up. Was it Irish? No,
I have no idea
Scottish,
what.
Irish.
Scottish,
It was the Alps. They were dressed as milkmaids, right?
They were not milkmaids.
Yes, they were. They had like
They
the
were
little
like-
pigtails, and they had the little. It was. I think it was.
I thought it was
Swiss. It was like
Scottish.
from the Swiss Alps. The Swiss
Maybe
Alps.
it was Swiss.
The Scottish has the kilts.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I
they were
could tell
dressed up.
The teacher used to hand you y'all's geography test face
Brian
down.
said German. Whatever they were.
Oh
dressed
God!
up in, I don't know.
It wasn't the United States
at all.
They weren't, but they were looking cute, and they were basically talking about Mary, because Mary had gotten up and left. She had gotten into it with Whitney in the last episode. Got into it with Whitney over, I forgot what it was about, but she basically walked off from Whitney because she's over Whitney. And they start talking. Now Lisa is basically bringing up all these things about what she heard about Mary and why she feels so bad for Cameron. You notice that Lisa always feels bad for everybody outside of the friend circle. She felt bad for Stu and not really Jen. Felt bad for Cameron and not really Mary. And it's just like, okay, but hey, that's neither there. She says there are YouTube videos. And basically Meredith is like breaking down in tears. Meredith is like, no, like, this is my friend. I don't want to believe that this is that. And so at this point, Lisa and Meredith, although it doesn't seem like this season, they are and were besties. But this season, you would think they are just two strangers that met on this trip or on this whole thing.
They got nothing in common.
That's unfortunate.
Not a damn thing in common.
But people are kind of looking at Meredith crazy because they said that Meredith doesn't want to believe anything about Mary, but it's so quick to believe about Jen.
Well, Jen was arrested, so
right.
by the
But
feds.
Lisa
Multiple
made a
branches of
comment,
government.
and Lisa said that, basically because Meredith is saying, like, I've told you guys for years about people, and you guys don't want to listen, so I'm choosing not to listen to this about Mary. And do y'all think that that's hypocritical at all?
No.
Okay.
I think
they're trying to online. They want to spin it. You got Jenny saying she hired a private investigator for this. They're trying to make it seem like she is being, hypocrite for basically.
Well,
Jenny brought that up, and I didn't understand why Jenny made a big deal about it, because Meredith was very clear why she hired a private investigator. It wasn't for Jen. She hired a private investigator who find out who the fuck was sending text messages to her son, and it turned out to be Jen. So Jenny, with this narrative 4 episodes later, I'm like, girl, that's not what she said. Like, you weren't listening. I don't know what story you heard, but that's not what she heard.
Meredith did. Meredith said she hired a private investigator for the what was it? It was, she actually cleared it up on Twitter. I think it wasn't about that. It was something else that Jen was doing. It wasn't, So
I thought it was about the text messages that they were all receiving, and she even said the private investigator couldn't really pinpoint that it was coming from Jen, but they knew it was coming from a burner phone, and more than likely it was Jennifer Shah.
Jen and her camp also stole from Meredith, like literally months before that. There's been concrete evidence of the shit Jen has been doing. Yeah. Mary, at this point, it's just disgruntled former.
And that's what Meredith was saying. Meredith has said, like, I have given y'all facts, and y'all chose not to believe it. So I applaud Meredith, because it's like, Mary clearly is not, she's not really friends with all these ladies like that. Right. But at least we see that Meredith is at least trying.
Yeah.
She's at least trying, and she's giving her the benefit of the doubt, especially in something that is like really all rumored. I mean, they don't have any facts about. They have Cameron, who in this moment was still alive, maybe rest in peace. Not anymore. And it's just like, it's crazy to see his name be thrown around, knowing that he has passed away.
Well, and even still, he wasn't giving concrete stuff either. Meredith point blank asked him, like, what happened? He said, I don't want to discuss it. So I can understand where she would be a little hesitant to be like, okay, he went through something, but that, and she nailed it on the head. She said religious trauma is the most like vague kind of thing that you can come up with. Everybody has religious trauma once they step. I mean, shit, Whitney has religious trauma. So you can't really utilize that as like, okay, I'm going to not be friends with this woman anymore. I need a little bit more.
I applaud Meredith. And like Kyra just said, Meredith is like, girl, we got Jen right now. Let's focus on Jen.
One at a time. Shit.
I mean, Meredith has her own motive for Jen, so that makes sense. But Lisa gets up, leaves. It's like, I'm leaving.
I'm going to sleep.
I'm going to sleep or whatever. But apparently we see like the camera was outside the room as they were talking, but she's talking to Mary. And I was like, that's interesting. And then they actually go inside and we see them talking. And Lisa basically is bringing these, I guess, being more, I don't want to say transparent. She's trying to speak about everything that she's heard about, but not necessarily what she's saying.
Exactly.
She's framing herself not as the instigator. I participated, but she really quick once again
honestly,
said,
I think she was trying to beat the group to it.
Yeah, I think she was too, Cortez. I think
Absolutely.
she, in that point, as she was walking away, she was like, she decided in her motherfucking brain, she's going to go talk to Mary, and she's going to try to spin the story or get ahead of the story before it comes out over the next day or two or week or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, she knew Meredith was going to go right and tell Mary about it, because Meredith even said, she was like, I want to believe my friend and I want to have a conversation with my friend. And so Lisa was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Let me go have a conversation with her first. Lisa ain't stupid.
And so Mary is like, well, we see where Jen is. Like, stop comparing me to Jen. Like, I didn't steal money from old people. And I think I don't know if they showed us on the show, but they showed the clip back where Jen was talking to Lisa, and Jen was like, she's a cult leader. She has them all on food stamps.
Right. So that's what I'm like. If they on food stamps, I mean, no shade, but they don't have that much money to like be giving her, I would think, if they've qualified for food stamps, right?
But I mean, we all grew up in church. We all grew up with people that were still religiously giving 10% of their income every damn paycheck, whether or not they had to give it.
I feel like churches have always been it's always been an assumption that the church may be stealing somebody's money. Let's just be clear. In the black church, any church. I mean, it's just something you can think about. Like, I'm giving my tithes and offering, but where's this money going? Until you learn and how whatever faith you follow, whatever you follow, you learn. But I feel like that was always an assumption. So it's not new to see that. But to me,
we just dragged Joel Osteen last week or the week before about all his cars and his mansions and stuff, and half his congregation is living, lower middle class, and he ain't letting nobody from Katrina step their wet shoes on his carpet.
Barbara said, "Who grew up in the church?" I mean, I don't know. That's the question here. I grew up in the church. I did.
I was preacher's kid, Pentecostal.
Now, I didn't say God. That's a different conversation. But to answer your question,
I've got religious trauma
in the church. So then after that, we find out that Jenny and Mary actually had like a makeup moment. And this is the first part we find out that Mary is giving gifts. Now, she gave her these Louboutins, but she claims that the Louboutins, she only gave them to her because she wanted less space in her. I mean, she wanted more space in her luggage. That's what she said.
I think she just gave all of them stuff that she already had. And I think she just gave, I felt like she just gave it to them. It was stuff she already had.
I don't think she went to the store and said, I'm going to get this. No, she gave them all.
She gave them random stuff. Like she gave Meredith a hat, but then she gave Heather a fucking like $5,000 bag.
I'm dead. First of all, we skipping around, but the fact that Lisa said that was her first real bag.
Oh my God.
That
was rude.
She did.
Lisa's fucking rude. Lisa's so fucking rude.
But was it her first real bag though?
I mean, she didn't say nothing. She didn't say she didn't. I would have got mad and be like, "Bitch, I got all kind of labels in here," but she didn't say that.
But highs and lows.
Can we talk about how this was quite possibly the worst timing to be giving away $5,000 bags to people?
I agree.
3 hours after they said you stole money from your church members to fund your lavish lifestyle. This was not a cute look.
So I have a question before we get, because we're gonna talk about it more. But do you think Demetrio says Mary definitely trying to bribe? Do you think she was trying to bribe them? Because she gives the bag to everybody except for Whitney, which we find out later. Do y'all think there was? What do you think, Antonio?
I don't think she was trying to bribe them unless she had all of the information that happened in that conversation once she left, and it didn't really seem like she did. So I don't think she was necessarily trying to bribe them. I don't. I just felt like Mary is kooky. I don't really know why she did that and why she gave them those random gifts, but I don't think it was necessarily a bribe.
I wouldn't call it a bribe. Mary is not stupid. I think Mary was like, okay, so everybody's down there saying how I'm selfish or I'm taken from folks. I'm going to show you how generous I am. Oh, I love you guys. Here y'all go. It's my heart is so wide open and you are my friend, so have some gifts. I don't necessarily think, because let's be honest, they weren't thoughtful gifts. Like she literally pulled them out of her suitcase.
This is a good point from JP Robb. He says, ironic how Mary gave out the gifts after Meredith warned Mary during the ice skating trip. Because remember first we saw a flashback where Meredith had already tipped her off about them saying about the cult stuff. So and the gifts were clearly in her bag. So you think she just, but it's weird. I don't know.
Even if it wasn't, it's still just weird that she gave them random gifts. And it's even more weird that the person that's sticking up for her the most, which is Meredith, got a motherfucking hat and everybody else got bags and boots and clutches.
It was weird that they busted into somebody's room at 2 a.m. to wake her up to give her the gift.
The whole thing was weird.
So right after you had a conversation.
Shout out to Alex too. Alex has a channel and does all the same shows as myself and probably more. So support him, go to his channel, support him as well. And I wanted to talk about that. So in the next episode, the next scene, Whitney is like bothered, because she felt left out. She heard all the girls in the other room, kikiing, and I get it. But she goes to Heather. Heather comes to her and she's just like, I heard you kikiing with Lisa. Like y'all was just talking about, Mary last night, and I heard Mary and like they kikiing, and she just basically like, this don't seem right. It's weird. Personally, two things I feel like Whitney was just feeling left out, because had she been in the room, she'd been kikiing and having a good time too.
That is true.
And number two, I feel like Whitney didn't really hold Heather as accountable as she should have. because she was so worried about Lisa and not thinking about what Heather, what were y'all talking about? Because later on we find out Heather's like singing at the mouth about what they said, but in their room she didn't say nothing.
She didn't say shit.
She didn't say nothing.
And I think Mary, she said Mary even said that how she didn't like Whitney or how she wasn't gonna be messing with Whitney no more or whatever. And I'm like, but that's your girl. You didn't like stick up for or
Heather. That's the thing. Heather only sticks up for Jen. Heather. I mean, she tried to stick up for Whitney later on in the episode, but she got shut down. And she got called chubby and like Lord have mercy.
That was so rude.
Like, oh Lord.
I don't think Whitney felt left out. I think Whitney also, I mean, she's done this since season 1. She's very strategic with her mouth. She's very strategic with her gossip. So I think she saw that like y'all had me singing like a bird about every single thing that I hate about Mary. And then y'all are now kikiing here with Whitney, with Lisa, and now with Heather. She's going around. Now I'm the odd man out, and now it's all going to come back to me. Because once she knew Lisa was going to throw her under the bus. So now she's like, well, Jesus fucking Christ. I had the biggest mouth because y'all gave me permission to have the biggest mouth, and now y'all left me out here high and dry. Like,
Whitney
she's insecure.
She cannot wait until to be like, Lisa's in there doing this.
Yeah. Her and Lisa,
their relationship is so... Whitney,
they're the same person. They're the exact same person. Lisa's just smarter about it.
Lisa's not really that much smarter about it.
She thinks she is. But
she's more calculating. She's more calculating.
She attempts.
Because if I would have been Whitney, I would have excused myself to go to the bathroom and ran right up to Mary's room before Lisa got there, and I would have laid on the line with Mary.
And I heard them talking, I'd be like, "What y'all talking about?" Let me.
Exactly.
I would have knocked on the wall.
What's going on?
She should have went in and said what she said to Heather the next day. Like, y'all we was down there talking about her like a little while ago, and now y'all like happy and laughing and jumping on the bed and having a sleepover and shit.
Had she been drunk, she probably would have done that.
I'm glad she wasn't drunk, but typically she don't really get her thoughts out, and she don't articulate them well when she's drunk. Or Whitney.
She doesn't really articulate them well when she's sober either.
She tries a little bit. She does a little bit better though.
So we can kind of talk about this. I mean, Heather meeting up her sister. This was interesting to me, but just because Heather has made it very clear she wants her children to live a free life. Kind of the life that it sounds like her younger sister, started out being. But I guess at that time, being younger, maybe Heather has grown. But it just kind of came to the point that basically, like, she was ousted from the family. Yeah. And, and it's interesting. I was like, okay, like, first of all, they look nothing alike. Sister was very red, like a hot dog. And Whitney was...
Sister didn't have on any makeup. Whitney was in 3 hours of glam.
She should have...
Or Heather was in 3 hours of glam.
Heather was in 3 hours of glam.
Beauty lab and laser. And got her together. Her sister has a whole beauty lab and laser business. Go and beauty lab your sister. But
they weren't talking though. She made wasn't talking, but they weren't talking.
Yeah. Well, she gonna have a glow up next season.
They had to have talk to get on the camera.
I mean, yeah.
They were talking, but her sister. You have to remember they were in Colorado, not Salt Lake, so they hadn't seen each other in years. They hadn't actually been together in years.
Girl, please.
Yeah.
Look, I can guarantee the next time we see the sister, she's gonna have the same haircut that Whitney's dad did. Just a cute little jagged little bob.
I hope not that. Well, first of all, that wouldn't
she gonna have a cute little shag.
It's like a updated mullet type of thing. I like it.
I love that journey for her.
So let's talk about the biggest portion. The biggest portion of the whole thing, which is like this sit down. So I guess the trip was ending. It went by so fast in terms of like the day. They didn't really do much. I guess
it was just like a weekend getaway, I guess.
No, I thought they was there for like 4 or 5 days.
Did they?
Really?
I'm sure they was there for like a few. I thought so initially, but I do remember one of them saying like, "Oh, this was a bad weekend" or something like that. But I could have sworn Meredith was like, "Oh, we're there from Monday to Friday." Or
Meredith had so much clothes,
so much. And so many pantsuits and motherfucking blazers.
They were just laying on there. Bitch, what's going on? The hell did you pass?
She actually so I love Meredith's fashion. She looked good on that final scene with the lime. I like that lime.
Lime and black. I like it.
So in this
she
scene,
looks good in vibrant colors.
Yeah, they are. So they're about to leave, right? It's packing, whatever. And I guess this is when I guess everybody got their gifts the night before, or whatever. And Meredith feels bad. She wants to apologize to Mary. And basically, she's talking to Lisa. Lisa's like, we may not see eye to eye, but we're still friends. I'm like, Lisa, that's a little delusional because we're watching the same show. I don't see any friendship. But
Lisa is full of shit.
Thank you.
I love Lisa.
I do too, but Lisa, this episode,
shit, girl.
Oh my God.
Full of shit.
So Meredith apologizes to her first, and Mary was like, she, accepted the apology or whatever. And then they start talking about basically Whitney jumps in and saying like, honestly, I would have never known this. She didn't say it had Lisa not, basically like Lisa brought Cameron to the thing. And so at this point, Mary's like, well, it doesn't matter because you was the one that shared it. Yeah. Meredith says she apologizes for speaking to Whitney about it. That's very smart because I wouldn't talk to Whitney at all. Honestly, we talked about this a while ago, and Whitney didn't come to the event, but I think the original person to carry that bone was supposed to be
Whitney.
Yeah,
she said that the last episode we reviewed.
It was. Whitney said that on Watch What Happens Live,
and Whitney knows that. But
she said she knows I'm messy. She knows I was going to say
something. I think the issue is I think Whitney doesn't want to be painted as the only messy one. She wants Lisa to go down with her because Lisa is being very manipulative. She is doing things.
She is.
She got the puppet strings.
Right, and it's very much.
Whitney said, "I gossip, I run my mouth, but she does too."
But Lisa, when she called her name, Lisa was like, "Oh no, bitch, what are we doing now? What are we doing right now?"
But Lisa, whenever Lisa's kind of caught up and put in a position, she's gonna start like talking a lot. She's gonna start over talking the person. She might start crying a little bit with no tears. Lisa gonna do a lot.
She did that. How did it get on me? On me?
But Mary hasn't said anything yet. Mary hadn't said nothing. And then so finally, once they let Mary speak, she's like, well, first of all, why would I talk to y'all about this? Like, why would I talk to y'all about this? And she said, why would it be a conversation? She looked at Whitney. Yeah. And Whitney was like, why are you looking at me? Yeah. She's like, 'cause I want to. I'm like, okay. Here we go. We about to.
I sat through this whole thing trying to wonder, like, pinpoint where exactly Mary woke up one day and decided
she hated Whitney.
With Whitney anymore. When did this happen?
It was when Whitney didn't answer her motherfucking FaceTime.
I was like, why? What is going on? Because
I really wish that what's her name? Mary would just say, Whitney, I don't like you. Okay, we ain't got to talk. Because even in the thing, she said, I like Whitney. I love Whitney. I'm like, that's not what are we? How do you like her? You heated her eggs up last week and said they need to be sterilized.
She didn't wash her hands.
She didn't wash her hands.
she didn't wash her hands. You told her
to zap them in the microwave.
She sat there and told her to her face, God, you're exhausting.
She did.
That hurt me when she said, God, you're exhausting.
But I don't know. I'm sure it was like a whole editing, but I'm like, is someone going to be able to properly articulate to Mary what took place when they were sitting out there? Because it seemed like everybody was just kind of jumping around and nobody was really saying, okay, this is what happened. This is who said what. It was more so
but
like
Mary wouldn't have cared.
She wouldn't.
She Meredith was at that point.
Whitney.
She was good. She had said what she needed to say. Lisa was the main one in the conversation that kept saying, well, let's talk about it. We out here, let's talk about it. And I'm like, Lisa, you're the one that was saying the most last night.
Let's talk about
saying how she believed Cameron and didn't believe Mary and all kind of shit. So yeah.
Whitney had been talking about it, but Lisa was giving like details, like there's YouTube videos, and I love Cameron, and Cameron's my friend, and she was really, I wish
Lisa was dropping details. He mortgaged his house, gave us $60,000.
No, $300,000.
$300,000. I'm like, well, god damn, bitch, this ain't just having a discussion. You are actively giving people information over private conversations you've had with this person.
And every time Whitney would speak, it's like Whitney's focus was let me get Lisa to own up to what she said, because
that's where Whitney fucked up.
She really wanted Lisa to be like, I said this, and Mary already thinks Whitney's talking about her. Yeah, and that's why she really don't like her.
And it don't make any better that Lisa had told her the night before it was Whitney, or Whitney said blah blah blah. So
she said Whitney just said this downstairs verbatim. Whitney fucked up trying to get in that fight with Lisa in front of Mary. She should have said, Mary, this is how the conversation went. This is what I participated in. This is how it started. And this is where the group discussion went. I think Mary would have been more receptive and probably would have heard that everybody was having something to say. But at this point, Mary was looking at Whitney like, bitch,
Yeah,
she was.
I ain't got a damn thing to say to you, about you, with you, in your space. Heather tried to open her mouth, and Whitney said, or Mary said no.
Heather
was like,
tried to defend Whitney, but then that's what it made her look kind of crazy, because when she had the conversation with Whitney, she didn't defend. If Lisa was up there, Kiki and all that, and you didn't defend Whitney while you were in the midst of it, whether they came and woke you up with gifts, it makes it feel like you did just get a real bad because you was so damn quiet.
Yeah.
So Mary told Heather, if I wanted to manipulate you, I could have been manipulated you. And I'm like, oh. So
damn, she did tell her that.
She told her that. And I was like, at this point, I don't know what Mary's going to say. But then Heather brings up the gift stuff again or whatever. And then talks about the gift. Whitney's like, what did you get? She's like, well, I got this. It's funny because everybody's like, oh, I got this. They all are really excited for those
and
gifts.
They was putting up price tags on how much each
they were all
cost.
really excited for those gifts. So I guess it kind of worked a little bit. I don't know. But Heather,
did y'all clock Lisa's face the whole time that Mary was going in on Whitney and Heather? Lisa was smiles ear to ear.
Well, she thinks Whitney, Heather, bad weather. So she happy to see them Mary let their ass have it. Because Mary was like handling them girls last night. Like Mary was the motherfucking supreme.
But she let Heather have it.
She did.
And I'm not talking about the comment of the cartel. I'm not talking about that. Even when she was like, because she was like, because she said that you didn't stand up for me when Whitney was yelling at me. She says, yes, I did. She was like, well, I was, I was drinking, blah, blah. She said, you always drink. Somebody's always sending you home in an Uber. And I was like,
she did. She did. And I was like, where, Mary, why did you have to say that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did say, I was drinking. She was like, yeah, you're always drinking. They always going to see you home in Uber. I'm like,
so Mary, it was during this episode and the last one, because her anger, like, she literally does not have that for anybody but Whitney and Heather. And it really literally came out of nowhere. And I'm trying to figure out.
She has it for Lisa.
She
gonna give it to Lisa in that trailer. She gonna give it to Lisa.
It's not like Lisa gives it back.
Well, because Lisa don't know how to shut her mouth. Lisa's continuing. But my thing is, I'm like, you have all these women that, have actively participated in this, and you're focusing on these two girls. And I understand you have a problem with them. I get it. You're allowed to have a problem with them. What is the problem? Where did this stem from? Because right now, Mary's just kind of looking a little bit like you're angry. It feels like her anger is a little bit misplaced. Because we all saw the conversation that Lisa had and has instigated for weeks. And none of this erratic behavior. Well, maybe,
you know what I hope what will help her is that the reunion, now that she's seeing everything, I
hope she tears into it.
Because it really, if now that she's watching it, she sees that Lisa was, kind of.
Yeah, Lisa was definitely
and she said a lot. Lisa, if you're watching, honey, you said a whole lot.
You said a lot.
You said an awful lot.
And whether it was true or not, you still said it. I think she could have just said, well, this is what I heard, this is what I read. Now, two things she did say that people are in uproar, because I went to Mary Crosby's page, and they didn't like the tub that she said she's Heather standing all up, with her chubby self, got her chubby. And then later on, as she gives her spiel, because I will say that her little spiel about how she doesn't need to take away from her body because she was born with it, I kind of said,
I did too. I said, okay, man, I was born into this.
She said, I was born into this. I didn't ask for this.
even then, I was kind of like, girl, this really ain't helping your case at all.
It's not, but
this is not
her story in terms of money. Like, she
was letting them know, I ain't got to steal from nobody at that church. Like, we always had money. And she always said that her grandma had like fucking houses and restaurants and all kind of shit all over. Yeah. So that's where a lot of the money came from.
Yeah. But Heather storms off, and Heather is really upset. It's hysterical. I think it was, I don't know if it was she didn't hear the chubby. I think it was the you always going home in the Uber. And just based on how Mary just lashed out on her. But, Heather, sometimes you just maybe sit down and eat your food. I ain't saying it was right, but just kind of.
But Heather, as she was walking down the steps, she started kind of saying stuff then, but it was too late because the situation was already going to rise.
She was saying a whole lot, and she was basically like, pull like last year, like everyone's scared of Mary. And I'm like, oh, here they go with this. Last year, everybody was scared of Jen. And then you got,
it's always the black women.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's always the black women.
Please don't have out here saying black and have Jen watch this thinking that she is.
Oh God.
What did Jen, we know you ain't no fucking black girl. Just because you had some dookie braids, you ain't black.
Taylor said, "Why did all the white women start crying during that portion? When are you talking about the portion with Mary? Mary got really emotional. I mean,
she did.
I don't know if she has a cult. I'm not really sure. It's all.
It didn't seem like a cult when they went to the church that time. The church wasn't even like it ain't even a mega church. It wasn't even like full to capacity. So
it just seems like they really. I mean, if they worship her, I don't think they think she's a god. I think like they,
they follow her word. They like
follow her word. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, that's what most people that go to church.
That's what most churches.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. So
we said that the last one, like the mega churches, the Joel Osteens and all of that. Like this is, I mean, this is a business. They're not running an actual religious organization. They're running a LLC that they claim on their taxes, that they can collect money on, that they buy things with. This is her business. And she's probably a narcissist as well.
Yeah. So, like I said, Heather storms off. Whitney goes to her aid, and she's like, she doesn't want to be around Mary. She is uncomfortable, and I'm like, oh Lord, we go. And
we go with that.
Then when somebody says they don't want to be around somebody on an ensemble cast, it's like, oh my.
Okay. Look, I was on your side
until you
did that.
If she said it right then, she said it before, and and that means this is how she feels. So I don't know, but she decides that, at this point, Lisa's like, stay, come back. Let's talk about it. I'm like, yeah, Lisa, let's talk about it. She ain't talking.
And Lisa ain't saying shit. Lisa's like, yeah, it's Whitney. That's what Lisa said, that's my story. And that's what I'm sticking to
it.
Yeah. Yeah. But she said, but this is the part that's in uproar right now. Because under Mary's page, there are a lot of people writing, they're posting the Mexican flag. They're spamming her Instagram with the Mexican flag, and they are under her comments saying all type of stuff, because what she said was that when she thinks of Jen, she said she sees a thug, like those little Mexican, what you call them, drug dealers or something like that.
She said the Mexicans that make drugs.
She was referencing the cartels, which doesn't necessarily make it necessarily any better, but still, how do y'all feel about that?
I honestly, when I watched it, me and Danny were texting.
Okay.
And it was a bit cringe to me when she said it, just because we know anything that anybody says, black, white, Mexican, blah, 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 it would have been the same. But however, if that had been, for example, I don't know, Jen or one of the Caucasian ladies that said, oh yeah, they thugs, they remind me of those black drug dealers or something like that, I know how I would have felt in that moment as well. And I've been ready to rip them hoes up. So it was Mary shouldn't. She sometimes doesn't, her thoughts don't come all the way together. She just like diarrhea. And she be saying shit. Yeah. So she really needs to think before she speaks, because that wasn't a good look at all. Even though I kind of knew what she meant, it's still.
I think everyone did. You
like I get the analogy. I understand the analogy, but it's the same like kind of microaggressions that we see from the White Housewives in Dallas when she was saying, when was it? Leanne was going off. Oh, the little Mexican, the chirpy Mexican Chihuahua. She keeps barking in my face. I'm like, girl, that analogy, that ain't it. That's that's not what you want to do. It's the same thing. It's
she already got a little heat last year for the 7-Eleven.
The 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Then she got a little heat. So I'm like,
and I think that correlates to Mary. I mean, and again, she literally just said it 45 seconds earlier. I was born into money. This is how I am. I don't necessarily think it comes from a place of like racism or anything, but it is a little classist. Like Mary does view herself, and as most people who have money, they do place themselves a little bit up here beneath other people that they think. And I mean, Mary's kind of displayed that.
Taylor
quite
said
often.
It was given Ramona.
It was given very Ramona.
I agree.
It was given very Ramona. Ramona said stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we can't excuse it, Mary.
Sorry, Mary. Love you, girl, but that was some bullshit.
Keep it real.
Exactly.
All the way real. Yeah. All right, he agreed with Ramona. And then after that, she's talking to Lisa. Lisa, people were kind of spamming Lisa too on social media, saying that she was not in agreement, but she didn't really say anything in that moment.
Yeah.
But she replied back and said that if you see my face, and I'm like, I rewinded, I didn't see a shocked face, and she, you know, Lisa will give you a, and she didn't give us. She didn't give. So, just saying, I didn't see it. And Sass K says, interesting. Bravo kept it in, but removed Kenya's Native American costume scene.
They removed Kenya's Native American costume scene after the fact, like a year or so later, after the whole uproar about everything else came to light.
Because it aired.
It aired. Absolutely. Because there's screenshots about it. There's video of it all over the internet.
Right. I got a meme. Use it.
Yes, Demetrio. Oh my God, Stu.
Oh my God, Stu.
Guys, I'm literally shaking.
I'm gonna get me a shirt made.
Mexicans,
say, OMG,
I'm shaking.
I'm shaking.
Look at me, guys. I'm shaking.
So then, you know, to close it out from the episode, you know, Mary actually, it seemed like her and Heather were talking.
Yeah.
But when she walked out, she was like, "You're a liar. You're weird." And I'm like,
I was just like, Mary, what the hell is wrong with you? Is you that unhappy with Robertson? You need to divorce his big wide back ass. If that's what's making you so unhappy, if it's Robert Senior,
really. if we can't call this girl chubby, you can't call that bad.
I ain't no wide
you ain't gonna put Heather up against Robert Senior because
I'm dead. I'm dead.
But I'm serious though. It's like it seemed like they were talking, and then she's like, "You're a liar. You're weird." I was like, Mary, what the?
Well, okay, so I think the same issue that we have with Whitney with not being able to articulate, I think I have that with Mary. Because Mary, she's obviously angry and upset with these women, but she is not vocalizing what the problem is. And that's the frustrating thing. Because now she just looks crazy. But I'm like, girl, tell us why you're mad. Because she's on Twitter talking about they're racist. And I'm like, girl, you're the one talking about Mexicans. I ain't seen a thing yet. So I need you to articulate some things. Please.
I can't. He said, Taylor said, Mary calling anyone weird is comedy. And basically, like I said, Heather decides that they're gonna catch a flight. They looking on Delta.com.
Wait a minute. One quick thing. Did they was like, okay, y'all can't stay inside of the house while y'all search for y'all flights. Y'all got to sit on the steps because they were sitting on the fucking steps.
Well, you know how those rentals be. Checkout is at 10.
Okay.
No, but usually they'll let you stay in. I mean, they're not poor people. Like I've been in.
Maybe they threw their luggage out.
I think they was on the steps, like saying, "Okay, 6 o'clock Delta." I'm like, this is looking real low budget, Mia.
On Watch What Happens Live, Whitney was like, because Lisa was like, y'all gotta go through security and take your shoes off. She was like, we didn't have to go through security. We have pre-check.
Clear.
Clear. And she was like, we have clear. And she said, and we flew first class.
I literally laughed because I was like, when she said that, the comment, if Heather and Whitney would have been quiet, they wouldn't be flying commercial and taking their shoes off through security. I fell out. I was like, now she said they ain't got pre-check, because I mean, if you have pre-check, you know. Taking your shoes off at the airport, I'm just saying, it's not a good thing. I'm not shaming it, but if you can get pre-check, please.
You're weird.
Because it is.
Shut up, Cortez. Cortez over here calling people low budget.
She's calling people poor.
I didn't say that. Listen.
No, but for real though, y'all, it is only like $85 a year or some shit, like, or $85 for 3 years or something. It's something very low. So.
Yeah, it's like $100 for like I think up to 5 years
or something. Yeah,
mine expires in like another year or two, so I'm gonna get renewed. But yeah,
I hope they put you on the no fly.
That was the end of the episode. It was a really good episode.
It was.
I laughed. There was so many like lines, like Housewives.
It was chaos. It was
a lot of chaos.
I like when there be a lot of shit going on because it's not like one thing. So I like when there's like a lot of stuff going on. I like that.
Jenny annoyed me this entire fucking episode.
Who?
I know you don't see it for her, and I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Jenny couldn't even pronounce Christian Louboutin. So
now,
and did y'all see when she tried to say it? Did y'all see Mary laugh at her? Mary laughed at
Mary
that when that lady couldn't pronounce
it. Mary is so fucking rude.
But those boots did look like something that Jenny would wear, though. I will say that. That was
like something Mary would wear.
It looked like something Jenny would wear too. it gave me. It was. I don't know the little designs. It just gave me Jenny. I hope she wear them. They weren't ugly. They look cute on her.
They were cute boots.
They said that we give Mary too much grace.
I do not. Not me. Wow. Call in, JP Rob. We would love to hear you expound on that.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. I like Mary actually, and I enjoy what she, especially from last season to this season. I'm enjoying it. I don't like some things she says, but I'm not gonna.
She's comedy.
She's funny.
She's absolutely comedy.
Fun, and I like to see her in the mix.
Like Lisa is out here doing everything. I love Lisa. Now I'm gonna tell it like it is what she's doing with this manipulation. Literally, I'm going to Salt Lake City this weekend, and I messaged Lisa for some recommendations. She replied, "We cool. I love her, but she wrong.
Get her on the show. Yeah. Get her on the show." Let Antonio be Nicki Minaj and ask her some questions.
No, I don't want to be her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to be Andy?
So what did you want to say about Jenny?
Yeah, what do you want to say about Jenny?
I'm just saying, like, she kept pushing, like when she said in her little confessionals, nobody's saying anything, nobody's being honest about what they said, and then she sat there quiet as a church mouse when her best friend over here lying to people's faces about Whitney, like starting all the drama, and I'm like, that's your friend right there,
Lisa
Jenny.
Not Lisa. Jenny did speak up. Jenny did speak up and said everybody was talking about
Mary. She said, Lisa, you know what you said. Lisa, you started this mess. Don't do that.
Well, no, but the thing is, why should she do that? Why couldn't anybody else say that? They all did.
They were saying that.
Whitney
said that.
Whitney is the main person that.
But Whitney ain't that credible in Mary's mind, so
that's true.
But and that's very true, especially when it comes to Lisa and Mary.
Exactly.
Like, neither one of them really fool with her like that. So, but the same thing, Jenny, if Whitney was so whatever, clear the air, she could have said, Lisa told me that there were YouTube videos and blah, blah, blah. And then it would have went right to Lisa.
Yeah. Whitney shot herself in the foot. But that entire trip, Jenny looked annoyed to be there. I know in
she
her
was
face,
over it because she wanted to get away from her husband because her husband
trip.
was asking for like a sister wife and
like
stuff. She wanted to get away. She didn't even give a damn that Jean had got arrested. She was still ready to go. She was like, fuck
She
him.
ate that lady's snacks and said, can we go? and then they get to the house.
Follow. Taylor said, Lisa told you what fast food drive us to. No, she gave me some recommendations for some nice restaurants. She said,
Lisa Barlow, Vita. Tell us you some Vita.
Lisa,
if you watching, send my friend some Vita.
She might.
Vita, yeah. We can promote it. Ask her to send you the name of that restaurant she set Whitney up at.
I kind of wanted to go there. I don't lie. I did, but I didn't want to say all that. I just said, can you
that's good.
I thought about it.
Take a selfie. Take a selfie with the owner. Just be like,
I ain't trying to burn no bridges. Okay, I like Lisa. She do some stuff.
I love Lisa.
What about when Lisa?
Every show needs a villain.
When they showed the sit down with when they flash back to sit down with Lisa and Cameron, and Lisa was like, so did she use that to get the odor glands removed? And he's like, yeah, I think so.
Do we all agree that Lisa is the villain of this season?
Yeah,
I love it.
But I think in order to be a good villain, you have to like own that you're the villain. Like, for example, to me, like Kenya Moore. To me, Kenya Moore is like a great villain.
She don't own.
I think, but she stands in. Kenya Moore stands in her messiness at times. She does.
Any opportunity to talk about that woman.
I just didn't know Antonio was a Kenya stand.
Right.
I'm not.
Right
Kenya
now,
got me blocked on Instagram.
Oh.
Right now, Lisa's giving me more.
Kenya's only stand is here. Kenya's only stand Zach.
But no, I'm not a big Kenya stan, but I think she owns her villainess or whatever.
She owns what she does, but what she fails as a villain is that she always acts like it, like she didn't have any part in it, and in part how they got to that place. She feels like whenever they come at her, she can just do whatever, right? And that's fine. You can't control about response, but she always forgets about what she did, or what she said. And if you watch the Ultimate Girls Trip, I mean, you know,
that's right on display.
It's right on display.
She sat in that van and said, "In my city, on my show, nobody likes me." Girl, why is that?
Then she also said,
"Let's tell these white women why they don't like you."
Exactly. Kenya pushed his buttons and act surprised in the last shout. That's another show. Watch Ultimate Girls Trip.
Okay, Ultimate Girls Trip.
Talk about Kenya on Ultimate Girls Trip for episodes 5 and 6. But I'm gonna go ahead and send the link for some calls. While I do that, I wanted to talk about a few things from the mid-season trailer. So we got the trailer, and the trailer looks really good.
It does.
And it doesn't.
Meredith is showing up.
It didn't even include the scene where Jen is yelling in
Meredith's face.
So Meredith's face. That means we gonna get like a good. And this is episode 12. So mid-season episode 12. That's like 10 more episodes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let me send this link. But what do y'all think about the trailer? Like, what's the moment you're looking forward to the most? The next moment?
Meredith walking out of the party saying they want to fuck with me. I'll say everything I know about everybody.
Yeah, that was good. She said,
good.
"I'll say everything about everything. They don't want me to." I love it. I said, "Yes, Meredith."
And it was so cool. She just walking with her hand in her man's hand, her purse at her side. Oh, I loved it.
Talking out the side of her mouth.
Talking about, don't do that on the benzos. I love it.
I'm looking forward to kind of seeing Mary versus Lisa, because that lets me know that maybe Lisa starts to believe something or something like that. And I seen where Jenny threw something at Mary. I ain't like that shit.
I don't know about that.
Jenny is unhinged too. Okay,
I did not like that because of Mary.
She is unhinged too. And
you don't throw stuff at people like
that's a fight
starter. Mary wears her out in some kind of way because you don't throw a whole glass.
You don't throw shit at people.
No, stop it.
And you know, because Mary, even though it probably looked like, but Mary had on something very expensive.
Yeah. It didn't match, but it was very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to what was. Jen, I guess, isn't in a lot of the because they didn't really. Well, she didn't show her at all, and Jen needs all that money.
They showed.
Jen is in a couple of the stuff. She's gonna.
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't show her at all on last night's episode.
Did you see where Mary was talking to her? She said, "I pray to God that you're guilty." I mean, innocent.
And Mary said, "I'm not guilty." I'm not guilty.
And then she was talking with her husband. So it was. She was in the mid-season trailer a couple of times.
She's in the trailer.
Who do y'all think is going to end out still friends on this? End up still friends?
Whitney and Heather.
Whitney and Heather, and I think Meredith and Mary.
Meredith will be fine.
They'll still be good because even Meredith, the last time she was on Watch What Happens Live, she was still kind of taking up for Mary. Even they were asking about the whole when Mary sent Whitney the different invite, and Meredith defended her doing that. So I think they'll still end up being cool too.
And Meredith is still good with Whitney and Heather.
Meredith,
I guess so.
With everybody, with the exception of Lisa and Jen. I mean,
Jenny can go. I said
Jen.
Oh, Jen. Yeah.
Taylor said bad weather is loyal. They are loyal sometimes.
Baby, they can't. I would really wish if they could just get their stories and stop stuttering and stop.
That's the thing. Like
exasperated. They could be a dynamic duo.
They be drinking too much.
Heather's really witty, and she's a wordsmith person, but she is like
she's just not good under pressure.
No,
or drunk.
Yeah, she's not. What was I gonna say? Too.
Well, she's only been getting drunk for about 5 years.
I like Heather.
She's new.
And then we got our wish, so they do go to a warm place. Apparently, I think we talked about that. I was
tired of seeing them in the snow.
We're gonna see them in swimsuits, and it seems to be like okay, like it's gonna be a really good season. It started off a little slow in and out, but it up every since.
It was a slow build.
Yeah,
it was a slow build.
So we have some callers to join, and the first person is going to be Demisio. Hey, Demisio.
Hey, guys. Hey, Fave. Hey, Jamie.
Hey.
Oh,
how are you, baby? Stop that.
Don't do my fave. Don't do my fave like that, Antonio. What I got to say is, that damn Lisa just gets me because I just watched the episode like an hour before y'all got on.
I just watched it.
I said, let me catch up before they get on, so whatever. And I'm just like, Lisa. And then she's talking about some don't make it all about me. It's like, girl, it is all about you. It is.
That's
you
true.
started it. What are you talking about? Like, you started all of this. Like, if you would have run Cameron on, none of this would have even been a conversation to begin with. So, like, girl, it is all about you. You're sitting back trying to manipulate and create all these stories, trying to be Lisa Vanderpump 2.0. And it's just like, you can't be mad. I was glad that I feel like Whitney was sticking it to her just how she deserved it.
I
feel
trying,
like she
was trying
her best.
Because Lisa
Lisa was easing her way out of that shit. Like, girl,
Lisa is going to turn it around. Okay, she's gonna get upset. She gonna start. She gonna do what she gotta do. To turn it all back
she gonna turn on that Days of Our Lives, acting real quick, honey, and weasel her way out. But she was sticking it to it though. I believe she stuck it to her just how she was supposed to. Mary just don't like Whitney, so like it really didn't even matter. Like she didn't have to like word it no type of way. She don't like her, so like that was coming from the worst person possible to like deliver that, you know, what Whitney was trying to do. Now, had that been maybe Meredith or one of the other girls, then maybe, you know, Mary probably would have, but because it's Whitney, she just don't like Whitney, and it ain't really nothing you can do about that. You know, it's just a dislike thing. And also, no Kenya slander will be tolerated.
That's a different show, okay?
I just have to bring that up. No Kenya slander because she owns it, and Lisa don't at all. She owns it way more than Lisa do.
It's Lisa not about who owns it more. It's about owning it at all. And
because then the bar is very low.
Right, because I mean,
that's very low.
I guess I'm a villain too.
Very low.
Well, yes, and Mary,
you're the Lisa of our show, Cortez.
Who?
And Mary was just Mary was just all over the place. Like Mary is just a train wreck that keeps on going, and then the Titanic, and then gets a train wreck hit again. Like,
and I just be watching, like, damn.
Yeah, me too. Like, girl,
you can't. And I'm saying, like, I can't hate her because it's like she's so entertaining.
Yeah,
I mean, you're watching the show, and so she's quirky, she's weird, she's tweaking eyes, and she's like this. She's just so.
And then the bad
when
hair,
she was doing those facial
outfits.
expressions when them women were trying to talk to her, when she was like,
she was like, I was like, this lady's crazy. And so I can't hate it. I'm sorry. It's TV.
Yeah, it's like I have a love to hate relationship with Mary, but Lisa is just a mess. Because it's just like, girl, you know damn well you was down there talking shit. Then you gonna go up there and try to make it seem like it's all on Whitney. Like, no.
Yeah.
She don't like Whitney either. So it's like Whitney ain't gonna lose in that feud. Like, she needs to just kind of step out, maybe hand the torch to Heather or, you know, Jeannie or somebody. But her trying to like do that, it's just not gonna work. Because don't neither one of them like her. So it's like anytime she gonna try to come in between, they probably gonna both attack her. Like, I don't know. And Heather, I just want the Heather from the reunion throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
Because it's like
was bad. She would be a bad housewife if she was
like if she had that animosity throughout the whole entire show, then maybe, you know, she would be okay because she's another one that's a train wreck. She just be all over the place. Like, that whole thing is just like you waited till you walked away to want to amp up. Girl, shut up. You know on the room.
You walked away.
Like be quiet. Just go and hush. Just go, the doors closed. In the words of Nene, went on upstairs.
We didn't move down.
Hello. You want to walk away to want to get empty. Like, girl, just be quiet. Go on in your room. Pack your bag for your Delta flight.
Take your shoes off and get on the damn plane.
Go sit on the damn doorstep and wait for your Uber. They say you always get in because you're drunk. I'm like, oh my God.
Y'all are hilarious. Oh my God.
I do. There's nobody on the cast that I dislike. It really, maybe Jenny. Jenny is like,
yeah, she can like. She's irrelevant.
She really is to me.
Like so irrelevant.
Everybody else, like I can't. I don't have it. They have their own. They all have their own issues, but they make.
She don't even seem interested in anyway.
She is.
It's just like
really,
she's there.
She really isn't.
She's there to get a paycheck. Like she only throw in her little 2 cents every now and then. Even though she be right when she do speak, it's just she was like a scholar. She was giving a scholar vibes. Like she was there, but. You know, not interesting, not fun.
This was a weird season to try to add another cast member.
Yeah,
I felt they should have waited until season 3.
And I feel like Angie would have did a better job than Jeannie did.
No. I think Angie would have really got in there and got like dirty with the girls.
Angie was too dirty. She was too dirty.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but Lisa was wrong Angie in that situation.
I don't necessarily like too dirty now.
She came in. She came in too like.
But Lisa was wrong though.
If that really happened, yes, we don't have proof.
Lisa was wrong. Come on now. All of a sudden, her back.
If you don't have proof, it's like
okay, Meredith. I need proof. I gave you facts.
Hold up, but I'm gonna let you go because I want to address a question from JP Rob.
Okay.
It's shots fired.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Demisio.
So this question now, it's very interesting here because we actually talked about this in the group chat. And JP, I'm glad you're here. JP Rob says, when a white woman dismisses a black woman, y'all hate on her. But a black woman dismisses a white woman, y'all laugh. Am I missing something?
We have discussed this in the group chat quite a bit.
We have. So let's discuss it today. Me personally, JB Rob, I feel like obviously you don't like Mary, so I get it. That's very clear. But in this situation, it's not about whether she's white or black. It's about, to me, I can be entertained by something, but that doesn't mean I like it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just for me. I want to laugh and kiki at it. But in the end of the day, like, I laughed at the comment about the cartel, but was it wrong? Yes. The way it came out, it was just like it just came out of nowhere. I did laugh, but I definitely don't agree with this. It's definitely wrong.
Yeah.
But as far as the situation, I think we talked about this, Jamie, with when Jenny was going at Mary, remember, or whatever, and we was like, I think somebody, I don't know who said it, was like, we talk to no black woman like that, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But in that moment, she was disrespectful. She told them to shut the fuck up, whether it was directed at her. I mean, come on now.
Yeah. So my thing is it a double standard? Absolutely. Is it a double standard that all of us participate in at some point or another? Absolutely. But I mean, we can all sit here and key about certain things, but there is an undertone of ick when Lisa Rinna tells Garcelle, for example, to shut up or screams at her to listen and pay attention versus a group of white women yelling at Mary, and Mary is comedically like, stop, be quiet, let me talk. Like, there's a power dynamic also. I think if there hadn't been hundreds of years of white people dismissing black people's speech, black and brown folk opinions, it probably would be less funny. But on the surface, it absolutely is a double standard. I participate in it, I laugh. Now, I'm not necessarily enjoying Mary doing what she's doing. This is why I hate when they put one in the mix. Yeah. It feels forced. And we've talked about that on other things before, but I'm not necessarily enjoying Mary the way that she's interacting with these women. One, because it feels very out of left field. Girl, articulate what's your problem with these people are, because right now you're just looking like you're mad for no fucking reason, and you're not coming off really that great. You're not doing yourself any fucking favors.
Yeah. You think you want to add,
Antonio?
No, y'all did that. I'm still.
I didn't want to be like Andy and graze over because we can't talk about that on this show because we're gonna talk about it. But
listen, it be funny sometimes, so I laugh.
We even cringed at when she made the 7-Eleven comment. Yes. Like it makes me like,
we talked about that
because you don't like
for
it.
A good 15-20 minutes last.
But I will say she only gonna get a few more passes now. That's one thing because it's like
I cringed at her last night, and I was like, but I did chuckle a bit, like, damn, Mary, but I did cringe. I was like, what the fuck?
It's not. I don't know what the way to put it. So the next person we have, the last person is going to be Kyra.
Hey, Kyra.
Robbie, if you have any more questions, let us know. We're here for another 10 minutes. How you doing, Kyra?
Good. How are you all?
Good.
Yeah, Rob has an interesting question. For one, there will be black women have to do a whole bunch of dismissing to measure up, and there are different power dynamics. But in this context, it was like, I don't know how many women, but like literally the whole group, and then Mary is one they're talking about. So I don't really know. I would get more if it was like a one-on-one conversation, which, Mary said that's to dismiss people, but in this context, it's like the whole group was talking towards Mary, and Mary bossed up and was like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the scene, like all of this bickering and talking is about Mary. She has a right to be defensive, dismissive. I mean, this is all about her. So if she is innocent or not, I mean, whether she is or not, she's still the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be defensive too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But
So, it is what it is. Nobody really had her back. It just was this speculated. Everybody was talking. Nobody really said anything to Meredith said her piece, but she still was part of the conversation because even when she apologized, Meredith came back and was like, she was still kind of mad at Meredith. So I think at this moment she was looking at all them crazy, despite the Meredith. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but also I find it interesting how I say, wow, y'all saw one person of color with a little, because we already discussed this. Jen is not black. Jen is not black. Jen is not black. But she has a little bit of melanin. One person of melanin goes into trouble and is like, okay, well, let's go ahead and go for all of them. I find it so interesting that it looks like this giant bombshell for Jen dropped, and now it's kind of like the next day. Well, it's Mary's turn.
I mean, this stuff has been around about Mary since last season too. This was in the blogs before last season.
Because it came up last season. It came up last
season. Yeah.
But then why didn't it come up anyway? But I find interesting the switch of like, okay, Jen has now been caught up, so let's go ahead and let's finish out Mary. The opposite of that. It might have been purposeful, but it just, we were so worried about Jen, so now we need to figure out what we know about Mary because we could be in trouble now. Like that's what Whitney said on, I think, like Watch What Happens Live. Like they were talking about like the reason why they wanted to like nail down what was going on with Mary is because now they feel like they were involved with Jen and we can't be involved again with another friend. Which I'm like, y'all don't seem to be friends like that in the first place. And also, I don't really think it's like that crazy. It's not like Jen was snatching up people, throwing glasses, and all this kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
Mary.
I mean, it's situations when Black people are in the mix, things are looked at so differently. Yeah, and like you just said, Jen was a whole mess last year. To all of them, she's snatching them up, throwing glasses and things like that. And I mean, this season, she's a criminal allegedly, but we ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like, I don't care about Mary sitting here attacking everybody that's attacking her. She ain't being physical. She may be, she got a mouth, but she ain't laughing.
She said something rude. She said a few things out of bounds, but like,
she's out of bounds, but she's not like, it's not the worst. I mean,
yeah. And again, I mean, we've discussed this before. Like, we can't police people's reaction to how people react. Now, we also, if you say some foul shit, you've got to be responsible for the shit that come out of your mouth.
You got to stand in.
We said it with Candace. We said it with Monique. We've said it with multiple people across different things. You're right to react however you react, but if people don't like how you react, you also got to accept that. And Mary's acting a little crazy, just like Jen.
Is she? But with Mary, because also I mean like preacher, like in church and all kind of stuff. It's not that crazy. In my head, it's not that crazy, especially like for Black churches. Like there is the connotation, even for Black churches, you don't even have to be a mega church. Like you are somehow some way stealing the money, regardless if Mary is doing it or not doing it. And what's interesting that Mary was like, well, this is how she makes money. This is also her church. This is also her grandmother's. Like we are doing a lot of talking, and you only have one person now. And like you did, like Lisa was. I think Lisa would have looked less messy if she was just very direct and laid the facts out that she had. But since she was trying to like drop tea here and there, and you were trying to build it up, that's why Meredith got ticked off. Because it's just like, say what it is. Because I think that was like Meredith's point, just kind of like, Jen kept doing things. I kept saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And everyone was just like, especially, I find it interesting, like Heather goes so strong for Jen. So it was interesting for me that like, she was so quick, religious trauma, and just like so quick to like, toss Mary under when like at this point in time she didn't have any negative interactions with Mary. While Jen she's had, and she's still fighting,
which is very odd. You're right.
This is where Ronnie said Jen Shah screams, has temper tantrums, throw glasses, and they're calling Mary scary. They don't eat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like that's why when it comes to conversations, I'd be like, these y'all need to stop. Okay,
exactly. That's why
if you are a person of color, you should somewhat still support Mary, just because clearly there is. If you just that scene itself shows you that this look what's happening on that cast. I ain't saying that say racist, but it's just like,
well, regardless how the season goes, which I'm not gonna put that out because it does damage people's reputation. But I can see slowly if this is the way they kept going, why Mary would start messaging about them, because it's interesting that like you ride so hard for Jen, and Jen now is federally indicted, and you have one man, which it could be true, like that could most definitely happen to Cameron, but it's just like I really hadn't done anything to you, but now all of a sudden you are so interested and invested in me because of what happened to Jen, even though you just said out your mouth that you still want to be there and you don't want to throw Jen under the bus when things are getting hard.
It's crazy.
But now we have to have a whole discussion about my church that like really now you are into. I think Jamie, you said this before about Whitney. It's like Whitney is like puts on this like dumb blonde girl persona when I'm like Whitney's whole husband has been in legal filings for like helping run a pyramid scheme. So what are we talking about here?
But the thing is, none of them are bringing it up, and none of them would be bringing up anything about Mary if it wasn't for Lisa Barlow. None of them were talking about what's going on.
No, Whitney, because Whitney was very happy.
Hold on one second, Kyra. I don't really think that Whitney has been talking about this. She knows a whole lot. It may not have made it to camera, but she has been talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very strong about that because she knows a whole lot.
She knows a lot. And she knows people that knows people and all that.
And Salt Lake City,
Lisa may have brought it to the show.
Everybody knows everything.
Lisa may have brought it to the show, but as soon as it came to the show, Whitney was like, boom, I can start talking now.
Yep.
Now it's out. So just saying.
Yeah.
Well, but at least Whitney had the code of, all right, bitch, I'm not bringing it up on camera for the entire world to find out about
but
it.
But she's waited until
there was a reason for her to do it. Until like Mary and her got into a fight. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, it's Mad Day. Let me go.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like. Which I like that Meredith apologized for it, but she started it, and Whitney was like, "Okay, thank you, Meredith, for opening the door. I will run through it."
And these shows have shown time and time again. Typically, the people that are the most giddy to air out other people's dirty laundry at some point have their dirty laundry aired out. And so, if there is truth to what's going on with her husband, maybe we're going to see that in season 4 or 5.
Well,
because that's not going to stay married.
Whose husband?
Whitney's husband.
Oh, you heard Lisa. You heard Lisa say, I'm not gonna be thinking so nice about you either. So I suggest you to stop. Yeah. I'm like, that's a threat.
So I mean, it's one of those things where, like, girl, all of those people. I mean, obviously, when you have a certain bit of money, all of you have something buried somewhere. Yeah. Like, there is nobody that has that much money that hasn't done something really shady and underhanded. So I suggest you smile and you be as amiable as possible, bitch. Because your shit's gonna get drug out. It's gonna be your turn at some point.
Yeah,
okay. Kyra, I gotta let you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyra.
Bye,
babe.
Have a nice night.
Have a good night. Okay. And shout out to JP Rob for saying that he still loves us. Not, we explain our opinions well. I'm glad that we didn't, come out with kind of way.
That was a good question.
I wanted to address the question because on this show, I like for everyone to have an opinion, and I feel like no one should be silent. So speak how you feel how you feel, and we're gonna let you know how we feel. And there we go. We ain't gotta agree, but that's just what it is. What's going on? We gotta get out of here, chat. The chat is being spammed. With that being said,
who's spamming?
I don't know. With that being said, we're gonna lean out. Of course, we'll be here next week every Monday. Leaning in for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Every Monday, same time, myself, Antonio, Jamie, and Chad. Hopefully, we'll be here. If not all of us, one of us. If not two of us, somebody will be here
somebody will be here.
The rest of the show. So it's getting really good. Of course, thank y'all for watching tonight. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, like this video. Find myself, Antonio, Jamie, Chad on Instagram, Twitter. We all on there. We have group chats. We always invested. And Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, episodes 5 and 6 will be recap this Thursday before
it's been good.
Salt Lake City. So watch that. I know. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. The chat is being spammed. We gotta go.
Bye, y'all.
Oh my God. Bye.
Right. Hold on a second.